Today we've got lots more updates to talk about. We're going to talk about dining on Princess. We're going to talk about children on another cruise really quick. A warning from someone that just embarked from the Majestic Princess about your account, and a couple of more sales that I think it's important to keep you up to date with from some other cruise lines in case you're planning your travel. And then I thought I would talk to you today about excursions on a river cruise. And then I'm going to work on putting together a whole video about river cruise, our experience and things that you need to know if you're going to go. But I know that I have had questions, so we're going to talk about excursions today. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. And so first of all, yesterday we were talking about there were 1,000 children on the Discovery Princess right now. We've got several updates from Let's Go family members who are on the Caribbean Princess right now. So I want to start off with Kevin. His channel is called 30 and a Wake Up. So if you don't follow him, you should go follow him. He puts out lots of amazing cruise content, and he goes on several different Princess cruise ships. He goes on some other lines as well. So it's really fun to see all of his experiences, but he has a lot of really valuable information. So go and give him a follow. But he right now is on the Caribbean Princess, as is our Cruising for One Jeffrey, as is another Let's Go family member that I don't know their name. But anyway, I wanted to let you know a few things that they have shared. First of all, this is indeed the year of the wind. You know, maybe a month or so ago, I did a video talking about how much wind we have had this year. How many ports have been missed in so many places due to the high winds. And indeed, people that have sailed a lot in the Caribbean this year, people who traditionally sail a lot, say that there has been so much wind this year. Seems to be holding true. The Caribbean Princess has missed 2 port calls this week in Costa Maya and Roatan due to the wind. Now, as you know, cruise ships cannot pull into a port if it is too windy because it is not safe for them to be able to dock, or in some instances to try to anchor there if it is just too windy, and so you just end up having to miss those ports. So sounds like that's what's going on with the Caribbean Princess this week. Also, the Sky Princess that just completed her transatlantic, they missed 2 of their 3 ports due to the high winds and the weather there as well. And so it'll be interesting to see if we continue to have these same problems as we get a little bit later in the spring and into the summertime, if wind continues to be such an issue. But when you go on a cruise, we are all so grateful when we actually get to go to the ports as planned, because weather can play such an important factor in that. So I appreciated him pointing that out. And then on the Caribbean Princess right now, it is during that spring break window. There are 600 children on board. I just find it really interesting. One of our Let's Go family members, Jeffrey with Cruising for One, says my word, there are a lot of children this week, all well behaved and look to be having a good time. And another fun thing, just a side note, so Jeffrey Cruising for One, go follow his channel. He put out a short today about the sanctuary, very nice to see. And so he has a channel and then his blog, so go follow him. But he won a full free day in the sanctuary with Princess Prizes. So Princess Prizes, we've talked about that before here. We've got videos about Princess Prizes, but Princess Prizes is part of the Premier package, or if you don't have that, you can play by paying $20 per day. So that's a fun thing that he won that. But in addition to his comment on children, we have another Let's Go family member, and I just love, it's the perspective of everyone. And so they were saying that some of the children are really well behaved and some not, just like their parents. It says that it has not been the typical princess experience due to the number of children on board the ship. They said that some families reserve a lot of deck chairs all day long, every day. And so I kind of think that it probably depends on what you are looking to do on the ship, how much you will be impacted by having that many children on board. I honestly think that overall everything is going to be impacted a little bit, because that is a large portion of the passenger makeup there, with 600 of them being children. And So if you are looking to use the pools and that is what you really enjoy doing when you are on a cruise, that experience is not going to be the same with that many children on board and that many families just in the mix there. It just isn't. A lot of times when you go on cruises at other times of the year, it is much easier to get a chair by the pool, and it is predominantly adults in the pool and some children, of course, always. Like, families are wonderful, and cruising is actually a wonderful way for families to travel together because it offers so much for the whole group that they can enjoy. But anyway, that is really impacting the experience on the Caribbean Princess this week. So like I said, keep an eye on the calendar when you are planning your cruise, and I would truly, like I said yesterday, plan from the beginning of March through at least the middle of April, because there is another school district here close to where we live that their spring break is going to be next week. Alrighty, so that puts us April 15th is that Saturday when that will end. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, another important thing, and this just happens to be from one of our Let's Go family members, another Let's Go family member who is on the Caribbean Princess this week, sent me this update about dining. And I know that dining on cruise ships is a hot topic because we all, when you go on a cruise, part of that relaxing thing is that you don't have to cook dinner at home. You get to go and have a lovely meal, whether it's in the main dining room, whether it's in the buffet, whatever it is that you're looking for. So often we think of dining in the main dining room. Historically, a long time ago, it used to be that there was early dining and late dining, and when they opened the doors for your time, you just went and went ahead and would sit down at your assigned table, and you would have the same waiters the whole cruise. A lot of people really miss that approach, and I do see the really nice things about that. If you go on Celebrity, they still have that, so if you are someone that misses that, you can go on Celebrity. Celebrity also has that little bit of flexibility that you can, if you were set, if you were going to be at 6 o'clock and you would rather come later at 8:30, you can do that. If you walk up and they have seating available, they will seat you anytime. But it is basically that 6 and 8:30 seating time. But on Princess, several people have been sharing their experiences with me of going and asking if they could please have a set table with the same waiters every evening. And it seems like often people are offered, if you want to come at 5 o'clock, you can do that because that's right when the dining room opens, and they can guarantee that you will have that table at a certain time every evening. So that's one thing. Some people also report asking if they can please have the same table later in the evening. Now, Gordon and I's experience with that has been, usually what we do is we make reservations for when we want to dine in the main dining room. Then we go, and if one evening, and I always love it when it's early in the cruise, if we have a waiter and the assistant waiter that are just outstanding, that we thoroughly enjoy, then from then on out, we will ask if we can please be seated in their area. We don't usually ask for a set time. It's just that when we go to eat, we'll say, is there a table available in so-and-so section? We learn the waiters' names. And always, our experience has always been that, it is an honor for someone to request to sit in someone's area, right? And so they always do their best to accommodate us, and we have not been told no. They always work it out so that we can go ahead and be seated. And sometimes, they'll say, do you mind waiting 15 minutes? And we don't mind waiting. And so we will do that, and then we get to be seated in that area. And so that is one approach. And another approach is sometimes if you talk to the maitre d', some people are sharing that you can say, I want to always sit in their section. What time should I come? Or can I please always sit there at 7 o'clock? And it sounds like some maitre d's are a little bit more anxious to accommodate your requests than others, but in all honesty, I think that they try to do their very best. And so I would keep asking, if you go one evening and you can't sit in the area that you want to sit in, ask them how you can do that next time, whether you need to come at a different time or just what to do so that you can sit where you want to be seated. Let us know what your experience has been lately in the main dining room, and if you have been hoping to have the same table every night. One of our Let's Go family members let me know that they asked the maitre d' saying, why do we not have the early and the late dining? They said that the waiters actually really like having the traditional dining because they know what to expect. They know when they will have X number of people to serve dinner to. It just goes smoother for them rather than constantly having long lines of people and trying to accommodate everyone at a different time. And so they said, how can we do that? And the maitre d' says, loyal customers just have to write into Princess. And so that's an option as well. If you want to send Princess an email and let them know how much you miss that traditional dining, I think that's an option. For me, I would think, I was looking at the Dine My Way on the app for our cruise that is on the Island Princess coming up in October to Norway. That's a group cruise that we've got going, and I just was looking. So after I had read several emails from people, I was looking to see what the options were with ours, and there are 3 main dining rooms on that ship. So in all reality, I don't know why they don't take one of them and just make that traditional dining so that people that want that experience can have that experience, and then leave the other dining rooms to accommodate everyone else, because there is also a lovely factor of being able to go sit down and have dinner whenever you would like. You don't have to worry about planning your schedule around your seating time for dinner. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the traditional better or the Dine My Way approach to it. Let us know what you think about that and what your experience has been, what the wait has been like. Now we've got our Let's Go family members, Code 4 for Life, and if you don't follow them, give them a follow on YouTube as well. Subscribe to their channel. But they are on this amazing voyage down to the South Pacific, round trip out of Los Angeles there. And so we were talking about how on the Discovery Princess, they have had supply chain issues and not been able to do the minibar setup, is what we've been hearing. Says that on the Crown Princess that they seem to be well stocked. Their minibar was set up. There is plenty of food and alcohol, as well as coffee cups and lids. They had run out of those many times on the Discovery Princess, and so it sounds like the Crown Princess has not faced the supply chain issues that Discovery Princess has faced, which is really interesting because the Discovery Princess is sailing out of Los Angeles and the Crown Princess was sailing out of Los Angeles. So kind of think about that. I don't really know everything that means. Okay. Now, we've got Let's Go family members sent me an email. They were just off the Majestic Princess. So here is what the take-home message they wanted us to all have. Really, 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 really watch your state board account. They had, trying to remember if they had the Plus or the, they had the Premier package, but they kept being charged for drinks on their account. So they had to keep going down to customer service and saying, that's part of our package, that's part of our package, that's part of our package. And customer service would say, oh yeah, it is. And they would take the charge off. And they said that when they were at customer service, they were not the only ones there with that problem. So make sure that you keep track of your shipboard account very closely. Another thing they said to be aware of is they bought something in the gift shop. They had the receipt for it. It was actually, was it jewelry? The jewelry shop. They had the receipt for it, and when they looked at their shipboard account, they were charged more than was on their receipt. So they once again took the receipt down to customer service and they fixed it for them. But really pay close attention. The third thing that I think is really important with this is they had hooked their bank account up. Some people don't want to do a credit card, or for whatever reason don't, and they make it so that then their account is settled to their bank account. So they had the amount withdrawn from their bank account, which would settle their account, and then another large sum was taken out as well. And so now they are having to work with Princess to try to track down why that additional amount was taken out. It's messing up their banking account. Their bank account is not working right, like they can't access it right now because of the funds that were taken out. It seems like a big mess. And so, I don't know, think maybe of getting a credit card. Credit card companies are historically really good to work with from the point, well, for several things. Number one, you can have your shipboard account settled, but if they charge you for something else that is not something that you should be charged for, you can call your credit card company and dispute the charges, and then they will get in the mix with you and help you solve the problem. And so that's just a heads up, but really do watch your shipboard account like every day. Pay attention to what is charged on it so that you're not like on the very last day in a long line with a whole bunch of charges to get taken off that aren't yours, or even worse, that you end up paying for them because you haven't paid attention, and then you get home and realize that you've been charged for all these things. Because if you think you're going to get your money back for things that you have been charged for on your shipboard account once you're home, that is virtually impossible. Okay? Alrighty, I hope this helps some of you. And then it's really quickly before we go on, I need to ask a quick question, and I'm really looking forward to your replies, so I hope several of you can help. If you have cruised and returned to the port there in Rome, Italy. I think it's called like Civitavecchia, something like that. And you want to take the train into Rome. Can anyone comment on the easiest way to do that? We have not done it that way before. I remember Mark Easton and his wife, they are often here and have done these kind of things before. So if you happen to be listening, or anyone else that has done that, can you please share your experience? Do you take like a shuttle right there once you disembark the ship over to the train station and the bus station, or do you get a taxi? Is it really easy to walk? I know that port is so industrial that I'm not sure about the thing about walking there. So if anyone can share their experience with that, that would help several of our Let's Go family members. So thank you so very much. Alrighty, now we're going to talk about a couple of quick sales. American Queen Voyages, they sail on rivers here in the United States. They are having their sale right now. You get up to $2,500 in savings per stateroom plus free round-trip air. So if you have been looking at booking an American Queen voyage, this might be a really good time to do it. And if you need help with it, you are welcome to send me an email. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to help you with it. And then also Viking. Viking is having their 25th anniversary sale. So you can book a cruise with Viking for only $25 and up to free airfare. So they will give you a credit now for airfare. And so that's a really nice time to look at booking with Viking. Heads up, Viking always requires their money really early, like a year to 18 months out from your sale date. They want payment in full. So heads up about that. And I am going to talk about river cruises a little more one day soon. I'm working on my list for that, but I wanted to make you aware of this. If you are looking at booking that, you are also welcome to email me, and I'd be delighted to help. Alrighty, now just a little bit about excursions on a river cruise. So when you go on a river cruise, you pull into these different ports, and they will have different excursions available. If you are somewhere for all day long, they will usually have something available for the morning and for the afternoon. On the river cruise that we were on, every time they brought us back to the ship for lunchtime. And so be aware of that, that often they'll do it that way rather than having just a whole long day. But I don't know if that's the same across the board. That's the way it was done on Avalon when we were just sailing. But the way that the excursions work is a lot of them are just included in your cruise fare so that you don't have to pay extra. You literally go online before your cruise and sign up for the ones that you want. If you look, in some of the ports they will have excursions that are also an additional charge. Like the day that we spent in Český Krumlov, that's an additional charge. It is a really big long day. That is one day they didn't take us back to the ship in the middle of the day. It was all day long, like 10.5 hours. And so, but some of those will cost extra, and when you are online before your cruise, you just go ahead and pay for those. And then once you get on board, the cruise director has the list with all of the excursions and who has signed up for them. So for example, they had us double check and make sure that we were signed up, that we could see our name on the list of the excursions that we thought we were signed up for. And indeed, our names were on the list. If you want to change and not do one of the excursions that you have signed up for, they ask you to let them know at least 24 hours in advance. Also, if you get up and you wish that you were going on an excursion, if there is still some availability on that, meaning there's room on the bus or room on that walking tour, then they will add you to it, no problem. They don't give you tickets. It is strictly on the honor basis. What they will do is, the way Avalon worked it, is you would go downstairs in the morning and they would have out these little pouches with these different tags. They were round with an A on them, and it would just say, you know, for the Český Krumlov tour, you can pick a red one or a green one or a blue one, and that would just determine which bus you were on, right? And so you could pick whichever one you wanted. You would go out, and the bus that had the red sign in the window, if you had the red tag, you would get on that bus, and that's the bus that you would stick with for the whole day. And then they would have different tags for different tours. And so, like I said, there were no tickets. It was strictly on the honor system. You would go get that ticket, and away you would go. When we did get on to the excursions that you did have to pay extra for, there was always someone there waiting and asking what your cabin number is to check you off. And I think that that was maybe a little bit of a security way to know that people going on that excursion had actually paid for it, and at the same time to make sure that they hadn't missed anyone. Because for all of the other excursions that were included, you would just pick up the tag and go get on it. So really, if you weren't signed up for an excursion but you wanted to go on it, you really could take a tag and go get on that bus, and away you would go. But I wouldn't do that. But anyway, that's the way it worked. They didn't count people. Well, they would count once you were going so that they would know that they had everybody there. But at the same time, they didn't, they weren't worried about if you had signed up for it or not. They didn't ask your name as you were boarding the bus or anything. Now, so that is all how it all worked. It worked really smoothly, the same as on a lot of other cruise ships. You just simply would go on the bus. When you got back, you would disembark and go back on the ship. No big deal. But one thing that has really crossed my mind a lot of times is what happened with one of our people on our tour one day. We had signed up to go to Schönbrunn Palace there in Vienna, and it was one that we were going to get back to the ship at 4:45, and like all aboard was at 4:45 in the afternoon. It was time to go, and they were tight with time to get from Vienna to Budapest on time that they were supposed to be there, okay? Because there's a lot of river traffic, there's all these locks, all of these things to consider. And so we were supposed to be back right when it was time to board the ship, and we all had to be there. Well, we leave, the tour guide tells us back to be at the Schönbrunn Palace at the bus time to go at like 4:20. And so we were there, and we actually left a couple of minutes early because he said we were all there. So off we go. About 5 minutes down the road, luckily one of our Let's Go family members, I don't think they even knew, I know they didn't know each other before the cruise, had the one lady had gotten her phone number and texted her and said, I missed the bus. And so we ended up in the long run having to have, so the tour guide said, you know, we can't turn the bus around. I told the captain that I would have you all back there at that time. I can't turn around. And so he said, tell her to go get a taxi. Well, she couldn't find a taxi, so she calls, is so upset, and the tour guide talks to her, and luckily they finally got it straightened out that she got a taxi to go back. But here's the moral of that story for me. We need to do a better job of like connecting a little bit when we are on a cruise. And I don't mean give your phone number to everybody, but when you make friends with someone, perhaps if you feel good about it, trade phone numbers. And then if you are on similar excursions and something happens, you've got somebody to text. Because this sweet lady, if she didn't have somebody telling her where to go, I'm really worried that she probably wouldn't have gotten back to the ship. Because when the tour guide talked to the taxi guy on the phone, he told her exactly where to go. And like, I knew the pier number, but Vienna's a really big place, and I don't know if she remembered the pier number. They told us, you know, when we got there, don't forget this pier if you are coming back to the ship. And so it just as a fail safe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, what would be a good way to help each other out? I know that we're all responsible adults. I know that we, as a general rule, take really good care, pay a lot of attention to everything, but sometimes funny things happen. And so I would really like to hear in the comments just what you think. Okay, like, is there a way that we should be a little bit more well connected? Like, I would be happy if someone gave me their phone number, and then if they couldn't make it back to the bus on time or something funny happened, that they could text me, and then I would know to do something to help. So let me know what you think about that, because I think it's a big deal. So you know what, if you haven't subscribed yet, will you please subscribe? We share so much information here every single day that is really valuable if you're going to go on a cruise, if you're going to be traveling otherwise, and would love to have you with us. So please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. If you appreciate these updates, please give this video a thumbs up. That actually really helps. The more thumbs up we get, the more people YouTube will offer our videos to. It'll come up as an option for them. So thank you so very much. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.